Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to The Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to The Songwriter Show. I'm your host, Sarantos. I'm a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words are so important to me, and that's why I'm thrilled to host this show for you every single Tuesday evening. I believe that every song is a story. Tonight, I'm so excited to have on the show Cody Bartels. Hailing from the outskirts of Tacoma, Washington, Cody brings a fresh yet timeless sound to the country music scene, with soulful lyrics, melodies that get stuck in your head, and a blend of traditional and modern influences. He captures the essence of country living and delivers a captivating experience that resonates with fans of all ages.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Welcome to the show, Cody. How are you tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome, man. So you like country music, huh?
Yeah, that's what it's all about for me. I love country music.
That's awesome, man. I dig country. There's always a story to tell, isn't there?
Yeah, country I feel like has become such a broad term, but for me the best of the country music throughout the years is like the storytellers, like the Outlaws back in the 70s and stuff. Those that's where it's all at for me. That's what it's all about, is those stories about sad times, happy times, and everywhere in between.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about when you started playing.
So for me, playing music originated when I was just a kid. I would sing along to the radio since I can remember, when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, And then I sang in church choirs as a kid, and then joined band. I played saxophone in band, and that's kind of where it all started. But when I started rodeoing and riding bulls in the rodeo, I played acoustic guitar around the campfire, and I just learned different country songs that my buddies wanted to hear so that I could sit around the campfire and play. And that's where it all started. And then it kind of just evolved from there. Went to college for music, and yeah.
Okay, and tell us what instruments you play.
To be honest, to say that I'm anything more than a guitar player, that'd be a stretch. I mean, I have a decent ear, so I can pick along with anything with strings, but at the same time, I'm not a banjo player, I'm not a mandolin player, I just play the guitar, and I sing.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. If you're going to play one instrument, and I'm certainly not trying to insult anybody, because people can take this the wrong way, but the way I looked at stuff was it's either the piano or the guitar if you're a songwriter. But I think we all dabble in other instruments. And again, I'm not trying to offend anybody if all you play is the drums. I think that's fantastic too. And there's a unique appreciation for every instrument on my behalf.
For sure. I think that you don't necessarily have to be a pro at any more than one instrument. But at the same time, like dabbling and, experimenting with other instruments, like if you're a bass player or a drummer, trying out guitar and vice versa, or even like a violin or a cello, it can open up your mind and open up your eyes to like the possibilities and where different things sit in a mix. It can be super beneficial as a songwriter to kind of be like, I mean, I don't know, this probably happens for you as well, but sometimes I'm writing a melody and I can already hear what the steel guitar is going to do before it even leaves the paper,
Well, and I think we all have a story to tell, but at the end of the day, like when I started, I didn't know shit about rhythm, so I think as you continue your journey, even if you start with one instrument, you have to understand there's so many facets to it. Otherwise, you're just not going to really progress.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think that it's good to kind of like have that happy place where you feel comfortable. And then once you have that as an artist, then you can go out and experiment. But definitely, like, I agree with you on the piano or the guitar thing. It's just kind of it gives you the roots and the idea of music that can be transferred to anything and anywhere. So
So tell us if there's any famous musicians you admire and why you admire them.
Off the top of my head, the first person that comes to mind is Jesse Daniel. He's a national touring act out of, well, he's from California originally, but he's touring out of Texas right now. My old bass player just so happens to play with him in his band. And I got the opportunity to meet him last weekend at a show down in Nashville. And, people say don't meet your heroes. And I've looked up to this guy for probably 2 or 3 years now. He's been my favorite country artist of, this era, this generation. And when I met him, he was one of the coolest dudes and was nothing but like supportive of me continuing on in this career. So Jesse Daniel is a stand-up dude, an awesome songwriter, and a killer musician. So yeah, hats off to that guy for sure.
Awesome. Okay. And are you influenced by any certain genre of music other than country music? Like, what's your secondary?
That's a tough one. I feel like country is definitely first, but in the second place, there's like a mix of, I would say, pop music, like maybe some bedroom pop kind of thing. There's also some alternative rock influence. And then there's also some, I'd probably just stick with those. I'd probably say it's a second place tie for either alternative rock or bedroom pop.
Tell me, what do you like the most about writing lyrics?
Expressing myself. I just had my first songwriting sessions down in Nashville this last week, and it was very interesting because songwriting for me has always been a very personal thing. And so I've always just been, however I'm feeling, whatever I'm thinking, that's what I put down. That's how I'm able to get my emotion out sometimes the best way. In Nashville, I worked with a guy named Daniel Martin down there, and he taught me that that's what you want when you write songs, but being able to co-write with other individuals and open up that door so that more than just people like you can relate to it,
Yeah.
Being able to say like, this is something that I went through that was really hard, but then like almost taking a step out of your own shoes and looking at yourself singing that song and being like, how can I get people to relate to this? Because everybody has had hard times. So it's just a matter of saying it in the right way so that it touches more people's hearts,
Tell the fans tonight, what do you usually do first? Music, lyrics?
Man, I feel like that's a tough question for me because it goes back and forth. There's times where I'll come up with an idea, a melody, or a chord structure, or a guitar riff. And then there's other times where I'll come up with a hook or a one-liner or a title of a song or whatever. And then, to be honest, I've kind of found that, if you lean one way or the other, that's great. But if being able to pick, like being open to either is like the songs flow so much easier when you're not so much like, well, I got to write a chord progression before I write lyrics, or I got to write lyrics before I write some music. It's just like whatever comes to you first, whatever you're feeling, just spit it out. My John Mayer has a good saying. He says, you're supposed to be the artist. Let the audience be the critics. You just be the artist. So that's what I kind of live by.
Yeah, I think that's very good advice. What do you think is the worst career advice anybody has ever given you?
The worst career advice anybody's ever given me. I get bad career advice almost weekly, so that's a toughie. I don't know. I guess the one thing that I run into a lot is that people are, it's a dog-eat-dog world in the music world, in the music industry. And, people don't, I've met a lot of artists that want to see others succeed. And I've met a lot of other artists that would rather you not succeed. And I think that the worst advice that somebody's ever given me is just that, like, anybody else's opinion might matter. I'm kind of really bad at it because I'm a very emotional and I take things very personally. But, I used to listen to a lot of what people said and took it all like I needed to change something. And then at some point I just realized like all of the advice I had been being given was like bad advice, like everything. So it's just a matter of doing things your own way. And what works for somebody isn't going to work for you. And what works for you isn't going to work for them. So music is a very individual journey,
Yeah, okay. So one of the questions I like to ask a lot of guests is about scams. How do we avoid scams or being ripped off?
Oof, man, the t-shirt bandits on Facebook, I tell you, they're constantly just going after my fan base. They're taking my profile picture, my name, and then posting a link that goes to a website that just takes people's money, basically. And the best way to go about it is like use common sense. Look at the post before you put your credit card information in, like look at the link. If the link is like t-shirts dash website dash Cody dash 67820, like that's probably not me, you know?
Yeah.
If it says Linktree / Cody Bartels, that's me. So to avoid scams, and man, I want to touch on this because I feel very passionately about this, but I think it's kind of silly that Facebook would charge you $50 a month. And one of the pros of paying them $50 a month for your Meta certified or Meta verified or whatever, your check mark, they give you added security. So basically they're saying that if you pay them, they'll stop the bots from coming at you. And it's like, so Facebook is the mob now, I guess. You know, I guess that's how it seems. That's how it feels from a lot of artists' perspectives. So, yeah.
Sure. Okay. So tell us about this song that we're going to hear. What inspired it on your end?
Man, I feel like everybody has gone through a time in their life where, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people can relate to a time in their life where they were just kind of like not really in a place where they were, I don't even know how to depict it the best way. Everybody's been through something where they were doing really good in life, and then something happened, and then they maybe found a bad way to handle the situation and just fell into that. And I guess that's what the whole song is about, is, you know, it's about a girl leaves you and you were doing really good.
Hey, it's Amy Brown from The Bobby Bones Show. Join me in supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for a chance to win a trip to meet Megan Maroney at the 2025 iHeart Country Festival in Austin, Texas on May 3rd, hosted by Bobby Bones. We're going to hook you up with tickets, flights, hotel, food credits, and a meet and greet with Megan Maroney. Take action now to support St. Jude and help cure childhood cancer, and you're going to be entered for a chance to win. Visit iHeartCountryTrip.com to learn more.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And now that she's gone, you're back to drinking again. So, yeah, back kind of on the nose kind of song. Not all that deep.
All right, brother. Tell you what, let's take a listen. We'll come back and talk some more, okay?
Sounds good, man.
All right, everybody, check this out. Here we go.
I was doing pretty good before she left me. Hadn't drank a drop since winter time. But although I tried my best, gotta get this off my chest. The whiskey helps to keep her off my mind. So I'm back on the bottle once again. I'm back. Old Jim Beam is my only friend. Get 'em, boys. Now I'm hiding from my mother and my father.
Well, thank you for sharing that song with us in the audience tonight.
You betcha. Thanks again for having me on, Sarantos. I appreciate you. It's an honor to be on your show and to be able to sit down and talk with you for a little bit.
No problem, man. The honor's all mine. Thank you for doing this for everybody. Dumb question. If you could re-record any song of the last 100 years, what song would it be?
Ooh, that's hard. If I could, like as a cover, like of a different band?
Yeah, anything you want. Yeah, any song out there.
Man, this is the first thing that came to mind. When I was seeing Jesse Daniel down in Nashville, he was opening for Benjamin Todd, who is a phenomenal songwriter in his own right. But they did a cover of Nashville Women, originally by Hank Lachlan. And I tell you what, that song is just, there's something about the melody and the words of that song that are just haunting. They are just, it's a spell, it is a freaking, it's killer. So I'd probably go with Nashville Women.
And is there a musical risk that you took at one point in your life that never paid off?
Every weekend. Every weekend that I hit the road, I'm kind of just going for it, flying by the seat of my pants. I work construction on the side, and I think it's just kind of a risk being willing to, put yourself out there. But I've definitely fallen into some financial stresses in the past that, it's either like make it or break it. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you break it. So that's definitely a part of being a musician.
Okay, well, tell us about a risk that did pay off.
Most weekends. I would say that there's a lot of times where I will, I've been in a situation where it's like, I don't really take requests. I'm a songwriter first, and then when it comes to covers, I kind of want to play what I want to play. And some people would like to have their phone in front of them and, be a human jukebox, and that's cool in its own right, but not really my thing. And one weekend, I had no money to get home, and I was all the way up on the east side of the state. For those of you that don't know, I'm from Tacoma, Washington. So I was on the east side of Washington State and about 250 miles from home, and I had no money to get home. So I started taking requests at my show, started butchering a bunch of songs that I had only heard maybe 2 or 3 times. And it worked out because the tip jar filled up and I was able to make it home. So
how has your songwriting changed over time, and what influenced those changes?
I don't know. I feel like my songwriting changes every day, and it's influenced by the people that I come in contact with, both just people day to day, and then also other songwriters. Meeting people from different walks of life is super inspiring for me. Just being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and maybe experience something that isn't so heavy for you, might be real heavy for somebody else.
Have you been able to manage any creative blocks over the years, a writer's block or something?
Yeah, this last summer, I went through a period where I was just playing so many shows, 4 or 5 times a week. And I was really frustrated because it left me no time for creativity. It was just constantly nose to the grindstone, go, go, go. And that was really frustrating for me because, like I said, songwriting has always come first for me. So kind of being stifled on both melodically and lyrically, it seemed that all I could write about was playing shows. And that's pretty hard to relate to if you're not a musician. So I definitely, just slowing down, taking time for myself and being able to write music that I want to write, the thought that what really helped me get through that was what is something that I want to hear that hasn't been made yet? And then you're able to kind of, this sounds really cool. I don't know if it's a song or if it sounds like another song, but I'm just going to write it. And even if you write it about the silliest of lyrics, just being able to kind of get it out there, just spit it out. And then maybe go back and work on those lyrics, or if it's you get past that idea, write a new one,
What's the longest amount of time you've worked on a single song in your career?
I don't mean to sound arrogant when I say this, but most of my songs, I don't let myself get up until I finish it. Until at least I have a good, some of the lines might be filler lyrics, but I try and get the whole structure, the whole chord progression, the melody all down when I sit down to write the song. It's kind of a stream of consciousness thing, but I would probably say maybe the max I've gone is a month. I co-write a lot with my buddies, so sometimes it'll take a couple weeks before we can get around to working with one another.
Okay.
And so I probably sat on one for that long and then came back to it. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of a spit it out kind of guy. Take the idea and just get it down on paper. And then if there's some adjustments to make later on, great. But for the most part, like, that's your song. You want a different one? Write another one.
If your music was a cocktail or beverage, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I like that. Maybe like an old fashioned, like still whiskey, like whiskey for sure, but with like bitters and an orange slice and a cherry, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe a sphere ice cube or a cube or something, you know?
Yeah, I've seen like those Death Star cubes and all these fans. It's so cool. I'm like, yeah. All right, I'll tell you what. Tell us about your website. Where can people buy and stream your stuff and find you?
Yeah, you can find us at linktree.com/Cody Bartels. That's CodyBartels. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook under my name, and the Instagram handle is the Cody Bartels. We're on TikTok, like all the kiddos are. You can find that on my Linktree. All of my music is out on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, Deezer, Tidal. We're all over the place.
Okay, very cool, man. I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It was a blast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Sarantos. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you to all of you for tuning in tonight with the two of us. If you're a songwriter with a story to share, I'd love to hear from you. Head over to thesongwritershow.com. To all the listeners out there, we hope this episode has inspired you to explore your own stories through music. My name is Sarantos. It's been a pleasure having you with us. Please join me every single Tuesday evening to hear other stories from incredible artists from all over the world. Until then, keep creating and keep sharing because every story deserves to be heard. Have a great night. I love you all.
New lover, it's just a matter of when they fall for her without even trying to. And she doesn't need it, but she sure wants it. She's got a taste for the risk and the hit. She sets her trap at night, and she blows easily. Makes a silent move, craves adventures for carpe diems where she's at. Like a scorpion, she's hungry and ready to bite tonight. Like a scorpion, she bites. Like a scorpion, she loves to bite. For her to feast. Her tongue dipped venom makes for a tasty treat. She's in control and the hardest worker she knows. Loves the smell of fear in her perfume and survive. In the shadows are where she's most alive. She sets her trap at night and she blows easily. Makes a silent move, craves adventures for carpe diems where she's at. Like a scorpion, she's hungry and ready to bite tonight. Like a scorpion, she bites. Like a scorpion, she loves to bite. Doesn't care.
Thank Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.
Hey, it's Amy Brown from The Bobby Bones Show. Join me in supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for a chance to win a trip to meet Megan Maroney at the 2025 iHeart Country Festival in Austin, Texas on May 3rd, hosted by Bobby Bones. We're going to hook you up with tickets, flights, hotel, food credits, and a meet and greet with Megan Maroney. Take action now to support St. Jude and help cure childhood cancer, and you're going to be entered for a chance to win. Visit iHeartCountryTrip.com to learn more.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.